So while I'm lifting, especially when it comes to like a squat or a deadlift, there's a lot of things that are going through in my mind. Every day is different, like, depending on where I am with my training. If I'm closer to a competition, I just think about my opponents, like, I know they would do one more rep, I know they would do these sets, I know they wouldn't like just walk out of the gym on their bad days, I know they wouldn't stop when it gets hard.
Get up!
I'm Erik Mata, I'm 20 years old, I train at Phoenix Gym and I live in Norwich. I've been training for about 5-6 years and I've been powerlifting for about 3.5 maybe. My dad got me into the sport because he's a big guy and strong, and I had a few people in my old gym telling me like I'm a strong guy, so I kind of just tried it out the first time and I fell in love with it. So I've got European Championships coming up in 3.5 weeks in Denmark, and ideally after I've got World Championships in about 15 weeks, which is in Minsk, Belarus, and then probably towards the end of the year I've got British Championships in Glasgow. So normally I train 6-7 days a week if it's off season. When it comes to a peaking cycle, it normally drops down throughout the training cycle. So the closer I get to the competition, the less days I do, the more intense the days are. So now I'm 3 weeks out, I'm training 6 days a week, but the last 2 weeks it might drop down to 5, depending on how fatigued I feel throughout the week. I don't find it hard to balance powerlifting with my social life because I generally enjoy spending most of my time in the gym or doing something that will benefit me in powerlifting, such as making my food or anything like researching, reading books, stuff like that. So I don't really look at it as like a sacrifice to care about the gym 24/7. I kind of look at it like something I invest a lot into. My long-term goal for now is winning European Championships while I'm a junior, so hopefully in the next 3 years, and maybe come top 3 at Worlds. That would be a huge achievement for me, but we will see. Obviously it depends on injuries, training and all that stuff. When I started powerlifting, it was a lot of male lifters and not many women. Like if you went to a regional or a national competition, you didn't really see many women lifters lifting. But kind of sort of the last 3 years, since it's blown up quite a bit, like internationally, a lot of the women lifters just turned up and taking like crazy weights. Now it's probably around 40 to 60%, I would say, in competitions, like 60% male, 40% female. The key to get bigger or stronger is, there's a few things. Obviously genetics. Not having the genetic potential to be great at something, whether if it's bodybuilding or powerlifting, you're never gonna make it. You can do all the drugs, you can do all the training, unless you have the genetic potential to become great, you're never gonna make it. B, consistency. So turning up to the gym every single week, however times you're required to turn up, is extremely important to just carry on progressing throughout the years. And 3, nutrition. Probably one of the biggest thing and the biggest downfall of a lot of people is not being consistent enough with the nutrition, whether if it's getting the macros in or the micronutrients in throughout the days, or just generally eating enough to recover from session to session. I don't track my calories anymore, simply because I used to do it for a very long time when I was bodybuilding between 13 and 16 years old, up until I started powerlifting. So I kind of just guesstimate everything. I look at the food and I kind of know like, okay, this is how much protein, this is how much fat, this is how much carbs I'm getting out of my food, and I kind of go by that. If I could only take 3 supplements, they would be Animal Pack, Animal Flax and ZMA. If I had an advice for my younger self, it would be focus on yourself a lot more and don't help other people when you don't have the money or the time for it. So obviously when I started lifting about 18 years old, everyone was like, oh, you must be on steroids, you can't be this strong at that age. But I never felt like, it never got to me too much because it's only a compliment anyway. Like, there are lots of other people a hell of a lot stronger than me out there, like drug-free. I don't think I'm that strong to be on drugs or anything like that. Like, people normally think that because they're weak-minded and they don't want to put themselves through hard workouts to get to the level I'm at now. So the subject about steroids is when I was younger, I really wanted to get on it just because because everyone I looked up to was on performance-enhancing drugs. Everyone was massive, huge, strong, pushing the human limits. But now I feel like there's a lot more respect for drug-free lifters. But maybe one day when I kind of feel like I'm like pushing the limits of my body, I might try it. I'm not sure yet. It's really, really tempting. So ever since I got picked for Europeans and like the whole international thing came up, I had a few people asking me about coaching and stuff. So I kind of started doing it, but I wasn't really like big on it before. But now, yeah, I do offer coaching, but I kind of prefer it hands-on rather than doing it online, because it's just so much better to keep an eye on the lifter throughout the weeks and stuff and correct their form throughout the training cycle rather than looking at videos and stuff, because the angle might not be ideal to judge whether the form is right or not. Every day is different when it comes to motivation for me. Some days I feel really down and I just watch a few videos of my idols or my favorite lifters and kind of relate to their motivation a lot more. And sometimes it's just an internal thing, like some days kind of like everything clicks. And obviously I use all my emotions and all my past bad experiences to motivate me to push through the pain and push through all the harder reps throughout the training. I wouldn't say I'm genetically gifted when it comes to powerlifting or bodybuilding, because when I started powerlifting especially, like I wasn't a strong guy. Like, I started with 60 kilos on the bar, I could only do 6 reps. When I started bench pressing, I could only do like 30 kilos for like 10 reps. When I started deadlifting, I couldn't even deadlift 2 plates. Like, I wasn't a strong guy when I started lifting. Like, you see lots of people lifting a ton of weight in their like first few weeks of training and they just never make it to the top because they're not dedicated enough. So finally, I made it to international level in powerlifting, which has been a goal of mine for about 3-4 years, ever since I started powerlifting. But even when I was younger, I always wanted to be great at something. So I tried lots of different sports when I was younger, but I've never been great at anything. Like, I tried football, swimming, athletics, all that stuff. Just never been great at it. I've been alright, but I just wasn't strong or like good enough to make it to like a high level. Since I've been powerlifting, it's just been a goal of mine to make it to international level, make it to the top level of my sport, and now I'm finally there. It's just an awesome feeling. A world record is something I would want to achieve at some point in my lifting career, even if I could just hold it for a few minutes before someone else takes it on the competition day. Maybe not this year or next year, but maybe in the last year of my junior year, I want to have a look at the squat record or the deadlift record and maybe have a go at it, depending on how training is and how my injuries are closer to the time.
In the 83 kilo class juniors, in the squat, we have a bronze medal going to Great Britain to Erik Mata, 235 kilos. Silver medal to Chuki, Czechia, 242.5 kilos.